Hey guys, Nick Jones here, and it's time for another episode of PB at Night. This is episode 42, in fact, for Tuesday, March 29th, even though this computer says the 30th, 2011. Tonight on PB at Night, we're going to talk about a couple things, but honestly, we're going to talk about companies and software developers that have focused their software to run on Linux. And, you know, most software developers who support Linux, it was always an afterthought. It's kind of like Android. When people develop an iOS device or an iOS application, they'll do the Android app later. That's how it is most of the time on Linux. But tonight we're going to talk about some really cool software projects that really rival some of the, paid versions, even, some of the free versions on Windows and Mac that I think need recognition and need more users on Linux. So guys, thanks for watching, and PB at Night is next. Hello guys, Nick Jones here for pbcasttv.com, and welcome into episode 42 of PB at Night. This is for Tuesday, March 29th, 2011. And unfortunately, if you guys have watched, I don't think I mentioned this on Gadget Gurus or PB at Night last night, I've lost my laptop. And I had planned today, since last Thursday, actually we didn't have a show last Thursday, but when I was sitting here at home Thursday night, I installed Ubuntu 11.04, the latest alpha version, Alpha 3. They're about to go into beta pretty soon. I'm expecting that in the next couple weeks that they'll announce beta 1. But anyway, I thought we'd take a look at it because, Unity has made a lot of upgrades. They've now got Unity 2D fully installed on there. And they've also implemented a lot of other technologies that hadn't been implemented yet. It's got Firefox 4 in there, a lot of different things. I thought it'd be pretty cool to take a look at that. Well, unfortunately, I've misplaced my laptop, so we can't do that. And it's kind of a funny story. So I watch Jupiter Broadcasting just about every night. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they do a similar show to PB at Night. And it's called Jupiter at Night, and I promise it's not named after their show. For one thing, we do a show at night. And another thing, I actually named our show with Leo's show Net at Night in mind. So that's the reason that it's called PB at Night. I actually I had lost touch with Jupiter Broadcasting. I was literally only watching the Linux Action Show. That was the only show I was watching. Anyway, promise I didn't copy him on the name. I promise I would not do anything like that. But anyway, so I watched their show Jupiter at Night, but the only problem is, well, it's not a problem, but they're on Pacific time. I'm on Central time. The furthest you can get from Pacific time in the United States is Eastern time. I think that's 3 hours or 4 hours. I think it's 3 or 4 anyway. So that means that my time difference is 2 or 3 hours. So I stay up pretty late, 3 hours. Okay, so I'm 2 hours off Pacific time, which means that I stay up, it's not that much later, but they start 8 their time, which is 10 my time. Yep. Central and Eastern are 1 hour apart. Yep. So, I stay up and watch them. Well, so most of the time I get ready for bed and everything, and I go to sleep, or I go to sleep after I watch them. Well, it had been a late night. Really tired, been a late, hard day on Thursday. And I was sitting there watching them. I usually bring up Justin.tv on my laptop. Sit it on my nightstand or whatever you want to call that, right next to my bed. Usually have it plugged up. That way I don't, have to worry about battery life. And most of the time I stay. I have never, went to sleep in their show. Occasionally I've dozed off just because it's like later and anyway. And I usually chat on my iPad, which is a great, the iPad is a great device to use for IRC if you don't already. If you just want to sit around. Things like that, that's pretty cool. I know Ron Knights and a couple other people, if you have a Roku or an Apple TV, you can actually, I know the Roku does streaming now on some channels. I think Justin.tv actually has a streaming channel, so you may be able to watch us live on the Roku. I'll have to check that out. But that's a great thing that, you could sit down on your couch, or if you have a TV connected or a Google TV, that you can go onto Justin.tv and watch, videos. Pretty cool. Anyway. Had my laptop sitting there. I wake up the next morning. I had dozed off, went to sleep. But you'd figure my laptop would be just fine. I Yeah, I think that's where I heard it. So you can watch Justin.tv on the Roku. Um, I laid it there, had it plugged up and everything. Like I said, I woke up the next morning, Friday morning. I was like, wow, where's my laptop? And I was like, oh well, because I don't have much time to like mess around in the mornings because I like to sleep later. So I usually leave at 6:30. I usually get up a little bit before 6, so I have like 40 minutes to eat breakfast and get ready for school and stuff. So I didn't really have enough time to look for it. So I'm like, oh, okay. But the weird thing was, somebody, I go to school. I get to school at 7, because I do multiple things at school. And anyway, our school starts at 8. So, yeah. So the interesting thing was the power cord was still sitting there. It was sitting there just like it had been unplugged. So my laptop has the power adapter goes into the left side if it's facing you. Still sitting there, hadn't been moved or anything. I mean, it looked like I just unplugged it and left the power cord there. The only problem is I've been asleep the whole night. I didn't, occasionally I'll wake up during the night. I didn't wake up that night. Don't know what happened to it. Still haven't found it. Eric made a suggestion. It was a little bit before the show. We were hanging out in the chat room, live.pbcasttv.com or irc.wildride.com / is it org or .com? I can't remember. I think it's org. And then hashtag pbcasttv. Yeah. You can come hang out with us anytime. Essentially, I'm on there. Whenever I'm at home, I'm on there. And Eric made a suggestion that I may have been sleepwalking. And the truth is, I think that's what happened, but the only problem is I've searched all over the house. I mean, we don't have that big of a house, but it's pretty, it's 2 stories, so kind of hard, like 5 or, let's see, 3 rooms, 3 rooms down here, 5, about 7 or 8 rooms I have to. Eric, I hate to break your bubble, but it's been 80 the last 3 days here. Well, not the last 3 days. It was actually 59, which is very cold for us. Not really. Eric said it could be out in the snow, but it could be out in the rain. It's been raining the last 2 days. But anyway, so I don't know where it is. And I've had that laptop for 3 years. I mean, it's not that big of a loss. But, I mean, you guys know how it is. I'd like to have my laptop back, even though I was probably going to buy a new one. No, my dad did suggest that's kind of funny. He told me to look in the back of the toilet, where the water is, the toilet, what's that called? The tank or whatever. Yeah, Carlo has it. That's what happened. He ate our cookie last night, and now he stole my laptop. Anyway, guys, enough rambling. Tonight I figured, and I was going to show us Ubuntu 11.04. But tonight since going with the Linux still, I decided that we would talk about software development companies. Yeah, he could have, and he said that. He was joking, but I'm each day that passes that I don't find it, I think he's more and more truthful about that. Anyway, so tonight I figured we would talk about Linux companies who have, or not Linux, like development companies who have made their main focus Linux. That is right. Friday's April Fool's Day, so I'm going to have to watch out. Is it Friday or Thursday? Yeah, Friday's April Fool's Day, never mind. Alright. Oh, wait. No. Oh, well, this thing's wrong. It thinks it's Wednesday for some reason on this computer. Alright, so I'm getting all distracted. Companies who focus on Linux, as their main OS. One of them being, and I just found out about these guys from the Linux Action Show, it's Runrev. Runrev.com. They make some really cool applications that are called, one of them is called Live Code, and essentially what they'll let you do is it easily lets you port like an iPhone application to Android, and an Android application, if it's Qt, you can like port it from multiple places. So if you write your code for Android, or if you write your code for Ubuntu, you can make it work on Mac and Linux, or Mac and Windows, sorry. It's pretty cool, and essentially this was built to run specifically on Ubuntu and Debian based, and then later they expanded it to RPM or RTM or whatever. I never can. Anyway, like KDE based, most KDE based distros like OpenSUSE and Fedora and things. But anyway, they brag that you can develop an app in 3 hours and 16 minutes. So let's see if we can watch this here. I don't have my headphones on, so So that they're developing an app really quickly, and that's one of the things that they advertise. So essentially, we'll watch most of this video because I haven't used this, but I think it's pretty cool. So he's like mocking up his game here. He's doing it in Photoshop. So there you go. Now he's got a working iPhone app, and now it's on Android. So I think that's pretty awesome. Now, granted, you still have to, this isn't one of those applications where you can just simply not know any code, and we're going to talk about one that you don't have to know any code at all. That's pretty awesome. Build one application and be able to port it over, and it took him 8 hours to build that, essentially, to get it fully functional and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. And that is runrev.com. That is their live code software. They've got some other things that are pretty cool. I mean, there's a bunch of different applications that have used this, including the American Heart Association. I can really see this as a big help for someone like a small corporation who wants to push out an iPhone app or an iPhone or Android app. And they can hire somebody just to write the iPhone app, but they can port it to Android. So that's pretty cool. Time saver and everything. That's pretty cool. So our next one is something interesting. It's pretty cool. I know you guys, if you've been around computers and things, you know about OpenOffice. And OpenOffice is essentially an open alternative to Microsoft Office. It's a full suite. They've got even a drawing application, all these things. And it fully supports Microsoft Office. Well, Microsoft, it was originally developed in Sun, at Sun Microsystems, but when Sun was acquired by Oracle, they continued development. I think it shipped for most of the versions under OpenOffice at least one more time. In Linux versions, I'm talking about Linux distros, still included OpenOffice as the main Office suite, unless it's like I think even KDE, most versions ship with OpenOffice. Anyway, but after that, I think 4 or 5 of the developers from OpenOffice split off, and now they have made they've partnered with Google. Google's kind of just helping them out with the funding and things, but they formed the Open Document Foundation, and their new product is called LibreOffice. I don't know why you guys can't see that. Sorry. LibreOffice is essentially OpenOffice, but it's it is new. They're on LibreOffice 3, and essentially they're using the same exact things that they have done with OpenOffice, but the cool thing is it's on Linux, Mac, and Windows, but the interesting thing is they actually started development, if you go all the way back to OpenOffice, original development was started on Linux, and it was really touted as one of the best alternatives and almost the only alternative for using Microsoft Office on Linux. And, now people even, use it on Mac and Windows. Yeah, so it emerged from OpenOffice. But yeah, it's about the same, really. Like Carlos said, it's got a different UI. But the cool thing is they're staying open. OpenOffice was getting more and more like a closed ecosystem because it was acquired by first. They were under Sun, and Sun was always pushing, open development and things. But when they were acquired by, I can't even think of the name anymore. I just said it. Who was Sun acquired? Oh, Oracle. My bad. Oracle was being all junky and stuff. Yeah, but it's going to ship with Ubuntu 11.04, the official release. I think it even shipped with one of the distros I tried out. It was OpenSUSE. So they actually shipped LibreOffice in OpenSUSE. You can install it right now. They've got a PPA available for any Ubuntu-based operating system. So you can try it out. It's pretty cool. So staying with the Ubuntu theme here, mainly because I'm a big Linux Mint and Ubuntu user, is Glibber. Glibber.com. And it wasn't the first microblogging or whatever client for Linux, but it was essentially the best. And what we saw happen is it's kind of like XChat. XChat is a great IRC client for Mac, Windows, and Linux, and they started shipping it with Linux or with Ubuntu, so people could have a good chat client. Well, Carl, I'm not really that big of a Glibber fan, but Glibber's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I like Glibber, but I can see where you're not a Glibber fan. But it kind of reminds me of what Tweety was and what Twitter for Mac is now. So you can do the one column view, but you can also have the multiple column views. I'm a pretty big fan of it. The cool thing is, it runs pretty much anything you would want. It does Twitter, Identica, status.net, whatever. Facebook, FriendFeed, Dig, Flickr, and they're always adding new social networks. So that's pretty cool. But Glibber, as far as I know, still only works with Linux. So it's really one of the first Twitter clients that just works with Linux. And I think that's pretty cool. That's a testament to them really supporting Linux, because honestly, even if they were a second or even third tier client in the Mac App Store, they could probably make twice as much, or even, they don't charge for it, but they could probably make a good sum of money on their application, and probably have more users if they supported a Mac App Store application or even a Windows application. But instead, they've embraced open standards and went straight on Linux. So I think that's pretty awesome. So we got a couple more. I've got 3 more, including the one I'm about to show you guys. But this kind of rings close to my heart because I've tried it out before. Not close to my heart, whatever. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Jupiter Broadcasting, and Brian from the Linux Action Show, he hosts co-hosts a couple other shows on Jupiter Broadcasting. He went full-time when he lost his job about 2 years ago. He went full-time developing. He's always been a developer. He's always developed for Linux and things, but he went full-time, and he said, we need something that you can develop for any platform, well, essentially any platform. It's not limitless, but, almost any platform that we can support and not have to know a line of code. Now, if you think about that, that sounds like a pretty lofty goal. Well, about a year ago, he launched a site called RadicalBreeze.com, and their key program is Illumination Software Creator. And, yes, it is a Mama Goldberg cup. Illumination Software Creator, their tagline is, create your own software, programmers need not apply. And it's $40. You can actually buy it in the Ubuntu Software Center. It's one of the first applications to ship in the Ubuntu, third-party applications that are paid applications in the Ubuntu Software Center. It does work fully on Windows, Mac, and Linux now, but Linux was the first. He always stressed, almost 3 years ago he released the beta for Ubuntu, and now it's working under every single platform. But they support so many things. You can develop for Linux, Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, Flex/Flash and Mamo, and you can even do Flex and Flash or web applications, but you can even download it. So essentially what you do is, if we look at this, I think it's going to show us here. No, actually this is going to show us the program. So that was just a simple program that was built. I don't know if you guys saw that. Let me do that again. Yeah, there we go. So essentially it says hello world, and you click OK and it goes away. Now that's a very simple application, but they're just showing how easy it can be. And let's see if we can learn about it. Here we go. So you use it by connecting dialog windows. No. Anyway, I don't know if I can show you guys or not, but so essentially you use you connect these little windows, and one can be, they're all little functions, so you could say whatever, and you connect them with lines. So you say on right click show this or whatever, and it would take a long time to build a detailed application, but it's possible. And it's pretty awesome, and the cool thing is you don't have to know a line of code. So essentially you could build your own application that does, a game or something, but it would be hard. But this is one of the cool things. You can just be like, hey, I can build an application without knowing any code at all. And, $40 gets you all of the platforms of that RunRev or whatever. It's almost $500, and that's only for the Android and iPhone versions. But anyway, I think it's pretty cool. RadicalBreeze.com, Illumination software creator. If you run Ubuntu, you can download it straight to your machine inside the Ubuntu Software Center. So there's two more open source projects kind of deal that first ran on Linux, and the next one is Red Hat. And I know Red Hat is a Linux distro, and I could have spotlighted every single Linux distro out there, but Red Hat is gonna become, I don't know if they have or not, but I heard news that they have received almost $900 million worth of funding, and they're going to be the first. Once they reach that $900 million point, they are going to be the #1 all-time grossing open source project, and they don't charge a dime for their software. Red Hat, Red Hat's used in corporations a lot on servers and things, especially internal servers, internal networking servers and things, but I mean, that's pretty amazing. $900 million worth of funding. You must have something good. Maybe that's $900,000. I might be wrong about that. Let me search it up. I could be wrong, but I think it was a pretty astronomical number. Actually, I was wrong. I don't know. But anyway, they went up 19% from their. Anyway, they've become one of the largest Linux distros and things, and they're gonna, once they reach a certain point, whatever it is, I want to say it's $900 million or $900,000 worth of funding. They will be the largest grossing open source software project. So anyway, that's pretty awesome. And the last company or bookmark or whatever for tonight's show is a program I use every day. In fact, if you're watching this recorded, if you're watching this in the downloaded version or on our website, this show is a product of this software. It's called OpenShot Video Editor. You can find it at openshotvideo.com, and they're only on Linux. In fact, they're only on Ubuntu-based distros as of now. They're looking to expand. It's really my favorite. What am I looking for here? Video editor. It's run on the Blender backend, and if you guys know anything about 3D rendering and things, in fact, Jacob even uses Blender on occasion. It's one of the top 3D editing pieces of software, and it's open source and free. And they allow not API, but like backend support for other applications, and OpenShot actually runs on Blender, which is pretty awesome. And OpenShot has literally become one of the top Linux video editors right behind Kdenlive, and I've always found Kdenlive to be kind of clunky, kind of hard to understand. It's kind of like the Adobe Premiere of Linux video editing, if that makes any sense. It's really hard to understand, or Final Cut. It's kind of like Final Cut, sort of, not exactly, but you know what I mean. It's a really detailed, and OpenShot is one of my favorite video editors for cross-platform, no matter what you talk about, because it's kind of like iMovie in a sense that it's easy to use. Like, I could probably show my mom in about 30 minutes how to use it, and she could make a video. It's easy to use. It's has a lot of features. It's a nice balance between yep, that is what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's easy to use. It's a great balance between being easy to use, plus it's free, and also the cool thing is it has a lot of features. So it's pretty awesome. You know, they support a ton of different features. I mean, I can show you guys some screenshots. They've got all different kinds, but I would, you know, recommend that you guys go look at it. And I know it looks kind of clunky in this right here with all the different colors and stuff, but they've actually changed up the color scheme, and it looks amazing. I mean, it looks like something that would be on a Mac, I'm just saying. Here's a couple screenshots. The Windows Movie Editor is pretty cool. That's what Jacob uses for editing his vlogs. But when you need to do a little bit more than what that does, but, you know, yes, Carlo, I'm sure it's so simple you could do it. But it's got some key features. It has timeline features, which some video editors don't. It really reminds me of iMovie. That's honestly what it reminds me of. But it's easy to use. It's free. And the best part is, you know, if you don't like it, if it doesn't work, you can delete it and forget about it and never remember it. It's called OpenShot Video Editor. It only works on Linux, so keep that in mind. openshot.org or openshotvideo.com. So anyway, guys, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for tonight's episode of PB at Night. As always, you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/pbcasttv, youtube.com/pbcasttv, and also pbcasttv.com. You can check me out, twitter.com/pbcast, twitter.com/thatnickjones, and also I guess you can check me out on YouTube. I don't do many videos at all, but youtube.com/thatnickjones as well. So until next time, guys, I'm Nick Jones. See you no, because I won't see you tomorrow. See you Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, live.pbcasttv.com. So until next time, I've already said that, but anyway, see you guys. Peace.